Welcome to Profile, the show that shares inspiring stories of ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things in this world. My name is Robbie, and our next guest says that we don't make poor financial decisions by choice. We make them because of lack of choice. And she's here to tell us why. Please help me welcome Jennifer Curpen. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. So good to have you.
Thank you for having me here.
You're a certified financial planner, and you're also a vice president in Primerica. Let's look at the statement. We don't make poor financial decisions by choice. We make it by lack of choice. What does that mean?
For the most part, we just get so busy in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's raising kids, whether it's having a career, taking care of parents, just all the things that we need to do as adults.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to money and how to best manage it, we would assume that when we go into different financial institutions, they're just going to kind of let us know.
Right.
If there's something that pops up that could fit what we need.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I were to tell you that that wasn't the case? We work really hard to make money, but I try to help people to learn what to do with their money. Because what's the point of taking the time to work and make money and not doing the most efficient thing possible with that money?
What do we need to do with our money? Other than what we are doing with it?
We need to have a plan.
Okay.
Like, I'm not saying everybody needs to plan for retirement every day of their life and just live to pay down debt. I'm saying that we can do things in tandem. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but if we have a plan, then we can chip away at these small goals, we can pay down these debts, and we can do it all at the same time if we have a written plan.
When do we need to start focusing on this plan?
As early as humanly possible.
Yeah.
You know, I encourage clients as soon as they get a job, to start investing, even if it's $25 every 2 weeks. You really don't feel it.
Yeah.
But you develop that habit of systematic investing whereby, most of the people that I meet, they don't start investing until their 40s. Well, now you've already missed 20 years of growth. So if you can start even a tenth of the amount that you were going to start at 40, you can start at 20, and you're still going to have the same amount. So given the choice, everybody would pick 20, but nobody thinks about it until they're 40.
Right. One of the things you talk about is people don't want to give up a current want. What do you mean by that?
We want to do all the things. All the things that we see our neighbors doing, all the cars that we see our neighbors buying, the vacations that our neighbors take their children on, the schools that they send their kids to school. We're trying to keep up with people when we don't know what's going on in their house.
Right.
So it's not about living so frugally now that you're not enjoying your life and you're living for the age of 60. But there can be a happy medium somewhere in there.
Right.
And so you can still live for today but still plan for later. So giving up a current want would be, if I have a client who says they want to take their family on a Disney vacation in December, I will get them to slowly save every month so that when December hits, they've got this account that's got all this cash in it.
Yes.
That they're going to take it and they're not going to come home with debt. Or we could do like most people do, wait till December and then put on the credit card. And both ways work. They're going to get to Disney. But the second way gives them stress when they get back. And it also takes away from retirement savings or debt repayment when they do come back. So having a little bit of a plan together, it makes the whole experience better. And they come back to be able to live their life again and not feel stressed.
Let's talk about you now. You and your, life experience, or as I said, working in financial services. Where did it all start for you?
It started with my dad, actually.
Okay.
My dad came to this country as a nurse. Okay. So he worked as a psych nurse for about 20 years with Riverview. And he had his job in nursing. He had a group home that he was running on the weekends. And we did respite at home for special needs. So there's 3 jobs.
Right.
But he just couldn't seem to make ends meet. It was like
Just the same, eh?
it was just the same, and everyone looked at us from outside, and they're like, "Wow, they have it made." But really, it was just a lot of work. But you weren't really getting ahead. He met someone from the company I work with now, and they turned the light on financially for him. They taught him how to manage his own money as opposed to holding themselves out as experts to make him dependent on them. That I found was powerful, because that's essentially what people want.
Yes.
They want to feel in control.
Yes.
You know? And so he actually changed careers, because that's him.
Mm-hmm.
He saw a need and he wanted to fill it. So when I was 11, he started a financial services company. By the time I was 19, I graduated high school and I went to work with him.
Nice.
Now, about 2 or 3 weeks after I started working with him full time,
Mm-hmm.
we were driving home from Prince Rupert with a coworker of ours.
Okay.
We had gone up north to see some clients. Now, on the way back, we were involved in a massive car accident where our driver passed away. And me and Dad were probably laid up for about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had a brain injury, which affected my short-term memory.
Yes.
And my dad was just older, so it took him a while to recover. But when I did recover, I was in university. I had to deregister because the doctors had said the effect to my memory was just too much to overcome.
Yes.
So my parents should be prepared to take care of me in some way, shape, or form going forward. And when you're 19 and you hear a diagnosis like that, you don't know to question it. What you just gave me was a get out of life card.
Yes.
I don't have to try anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not my fault.
Yeah.
So I lived with that for a bit, and then I started to work with energy healer. Someone who helped me to realize that I can decide what I want.
Mm-hmm.
That I have the power
Right.
to change my situation. I don't think you really realize the gravity of what just happened that was going to continue to affect your life for a long time. My life then became pre-accident, after accident. That was the line. You know, and it was very easy because I was injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I had headaches for years. You know, and muscle pain, and you know, it's easy to stay within that.
Mm-hmm.
And to not try to break out of it, because trying to break out of it is very difficult, and it seems like an uphill all the way. Yeah. But when I work with that energy healer, and he said one day, he just said, "Why are you choosing to be like this? Why are you choosing to do this?" And initially that just made me so mad. Because I'm like, wait, look at what these doctors have said. Look at what all these experts have said, you know.
Look how I'm feeling.
I got a reason, you know. I don't have to try anymore. You know, and that shook me. Yeah. It shook me because it did make me realize that it's all a choice. And as hard as that choice is, it's still my choice. You know, so I didn't know if I could actually do it. I had no idea. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try. And so after working with him for about a year, I went back to school. Yes. I went back to school, and then eventually at 29, I graduated as a valedictorian. And 2 weeks later, my dad actually had surgery, so he had to retire. Yeah. And then I took over the business. Full time. Nice. It just all happened at once. Yes. And luckily, recently in the last 3 years, my dad has come back and he works with me again now. Nice. So that's been fun. So I'm very blessed to be able to work in a family business, but do something I love.
Tell us a little bit more about the business itself. What is it? What is it called?
My dad started it, his franchises of this company, and it's called Primerica. Okay. It's a very large company in North America. Okay. And what we specialize, especially our offices, is we specialize in educating. Because an educated client can make an educated decision. You don't have to sell anything. Yes. If you just take the time to deliver the education. You know, people think that finances are difficult. You know, the first thing people say to me when I meet them is they say, "Oh, you're a financial advisor. I don't know anything about money." Mm-hmm. And then I'll stop and I'll look at them and I'll say, how long can you go like that? Right. Because we think it's funny. Mm-hmm. But we work really hard for money if you don't know. You need to know.
Yes.
So find out.
Yeah. And you know, they say if you think education is expensive or hard, try literacy.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And you come across it every day.
Yeah.
And it's just because, especially when you talk about minorities, what I find is that especially with minorities, we are just so afraid to ask. I don't know if it's because we think that people are going to sell us something or people are going to think we're not intelligent. But that's one of the reasons why I'm putting myself out here and I'm getting out there more, is because I want people to ask.
Yes.
If you have a financial question, just ask.
Yeah.
There's going to be no sales pitch or anything, but this is how we make our community better. We educate it.
Yeah.
So if you want the community to get better, then you need to learn a skill and then give it away.
You talk about a pivotal moment in your life. While you're doing your business and you're focusing on understanding money, trying to be knowledgeable and efficient at it. But you said there was a pivotal time in your life that made you take a step back and refocus. Do you remember what that was?
I think COVID had a big effect on a lot of people.
Okay.
It really made us slow down. My work was very consuming before, and I was very busy. And then when COVID hit, things kind of slowed down. And then, unfortunately, in December 2020, I lost my mom, who was
So
like,
sorry to hear.
thank you, just a force of nature. She
Yeah.
was. So I think when that happened, it made me kind of take a step back and reassess what exactly was it that I was pushing for.
Yes.
I knew that I loved finance. I just I wasn't as motivated by the financial part of it anymore. I felt like there was such a great need for the education and I wanted to have impact. So I kind of took a step back from the business side, and I've more been trying to get myself out there in terms of helping the people that need it, giving away the information. As a certified financial planner, you can charge quite a bit per hour, up to $1,000 an hour. I choose to do zero. I choose to do it the way I want to do it because I feel like that has the most value and the most impact and the most everything for what I want.
And I know recently you started a new program, online program, where you are offering this information, you
Yes.
said, for free.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I started a TikTok channel. These aren't going to be concepts for the high net worth or the people doing day trading. There's a lot of TikTok channels for that, guys. But these are going to be for people that are concerned about their future, that want to slowly plan and they can't seem to get a handle on it. So what I'm going to be doing is every week I'll be posting another video on a fundamental financial concept in a minute and a half. Because as a financial advisor, the one question I get the most of is, what is an RSP versus a TFSA?
Yes. And which one is better for me?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the thing is that these are the two gifts that we get from our government, and we don't know how to use them. So what if in a minute, maybe a minute and a half, I can teach you exactly what the two are, and who needs to use it is it.
And that is part of giving them choices, understanding what they are and how to use them. Now, you all talk a lot about people need to be educated about their financial decisions. How do people recognize the right information?
That's hard. It's very difficult to recognize what's right versus what's wrong.
Yeah.
And so most people just tend to shut down.
Okay.
So I think your first step is to make sure that you're getting your information from a credible source. You're getting your information from someone who actually knows.
And who would you say are credible?
Financial advisors are credible.
Right.
Financial advisors are credible, but then you have you have the difference between someone who is a certified financial planner like myself, who has a wide breadth of knowledge, not just with investments, not just with life insurance, like with complete financial planning encompassing taxation and estate planning and all of those things, right? So if you want a holistic approach to your finances, then you go to a certified financial planner.
And of course, this gonna come at a cost, but you're investing in yourself, right?
That's right, because your end gain
Mhm.
is going to be a lot higher with someone who knows what they're doing too. Now, that being said, not every financial advisor is expensive.
Mhm.
This is where the research comes in.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm a certified financial planner, but I choose not to charge my clients a fee for service. That's available.
Mhm.
And even just learning from different finance blogs, like the credible ones like Money Sense,
Mhm.
like the Globe and Mail. There's great information that's very credible, but it's just about getting to it. And a lot of what I'm going to be doing on my TikTok is going to be a lot of just information for you.
Mhm. In the beginning, you mentioned about the bank. You said that people go to the bank to do businesses. However, they're not getting the right information that they need. Why is that so?
For the most part,
Mhm.
right? But for the most part, in my experience, when I talk to clients,
Mhm.
they do expect when they wait in line and they go see the teller, if there's X amount of money in their account, if the teller talks to them, that the teller knows about investments. But what if I were to tell you that most of those tellers aren't even licensed to market investments,
Got
right?
it.
So
Got
who are
it.
we really listening to? And I'm not saying
Got
anything
it.
bad
About the bank.
about the bank, like absolutely.
I got you.
But what I'm saying is that if we work this hard for our money, why are we not doing a little bit more research as to who we're listening to?
Got it.
Because it's so worth it.
So where do you go from here?
Where do I go from here?
What's next for you?
I am going to strive to get this information out there. I have spent 22 years learning everything about finance, and I'm going to make it my mission to get it to everybody. Especially with our minority and especially the female minority community, it is my absolute passion to either mentor or to teach or to find a way to get this information out there, because I find we're limited by our lack of knowledge. We have women that are in relationships that can't leave because they haven't got their finances together.
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts me.
Mm-hmm.
Giving people the ability to be able to manage their finances so they can make decisions for themselves. Right or wrong or in between, it doesn't matter. But these women or even men that feel tied down because they don't understand. That's something that I think we can fix.
To be honest with you, you look like life is good. Tell us about it. How is the work-life balance going?
Since COVID, work-life balance has been kind of great.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of my clients over Zoom. I'm able to do complete financial planning over Zoom. I can see clients in person if they're comfortable with it and I'm comfortable with it. So we're starting to open up a little bit given everybody's comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
But I see myself doing this business, but also being able to do it and travel, because all I really need is an internet connection now.
Right, on your phone.
So that's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very, very grateful person.
A lot of people are struggling with identifying who they are and what what do they want for their life. And it's a question where we want to help people to prepare for life and to how to make decisions, not just financially, but for your life, right? So for people, youth, young people growing up today who are wondering, am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? What's happening? What advice do you have for these people?
Find something you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Because the money, big or small, in between will become a little bit more relevant. But work is always going to be work. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't find something you actually enjoy doing, then it's always going to be like pulling teeth. But if you find something like, obviously you love what you do. I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so and that's not every day. There's some days I may not like it as much. But for the most part, I feel super grateful every day. Mm-hmm. But it's because I love what I do. I feel like my talents are being used. I feel proficient. I feel like I give value to people. I feel like it matters that I show up.
life changed for you at a pretty young age.
Mm.
At a time in your life where you're making decisions to say, where do you go from? How do you prepare for your future? And then this future was handed to you. But if you were to look back at your life growing up, what would you have changed along the way?
What would I have changed?
Mhm.
I don't know if I would have changed anything because I'm so happy in this moment. I've gone through so many things, and there's been bad things and good things and in between things, but if it got me like right here to this chair,
Mhm.
yeah, no, nothing.
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 Nothing. And that's empowering. That's believing in yourself,
Yeah.
appreciating and accepting yourself for who you are, what
And
you have done,
just being grateful.
being grateful. If it weren't for that accident, what would your life be like today? Could you picture?
I can't.
No.
I can't because it was such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
It was. It was such a big part of all of my 20s. It was all of my 20s.
Yeah.
So now I look at it and it's a different person. I don't feel any of that anymore. I'm just proud.
Yeah.
That I changed my story. And it's hard for me to share this. I don't think I've ever shared it, but I'm sharing it because I know that there's people out there who think that the obstacles are just too high. And then it's just not worth it. And I by any means haven't made it to where I want to be. I know that there's a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that you can come to the other side. And if somebody can listen to this and get anything out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and see that it is all a decision, it's a hard decision. And it's much easier not to do anything. And nobody holds anything against you for it. But in the end, it's you.
Can I share a story with you?
Yes, please.
I have my mother. If I call her name today, no one knows who I'm talking about. But she has done so much for her children and for her community that I look at that and said, this is a story. This is a person that should be recognized. But these are stories that are overlooked, shoved aside, unimportant. But to me, I see something differently. I see value. I see value. And one of the things that I want to do with Profile here, this program, this business, is to bring these stories to the world and say, listen, this person may not have millions or billions of dollars. This person may touch a community's life, but still, this person needs to be recognized just as much. And that's how we build mentors. And that's how we build. And that's how we empower people. And that is how we add value to everybody who, no matter how small you do, you may help one person, but now you can look at what you're doing and say, hey, this is important.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because some people look at me now and they just see this now, but they don't see all that. They don't see the depressed. They don't see the memories. They don't see the shots in your head because of the headaches. They don't see any of it. They see this. But that's the finished product, or that up until now at least. But I want them to see that that's all a process. It has to get bad before it gets good. I feel like I am just so much stronger because of it. And that's why when you asked if I could change anything, I actually thought about it. I've never been asked that. And there's just so many bad things. But I'm like, they all made me now. Like Mom in December, which was probably the worst thing that's ever happened. It made me now. My whole mentality shifted. Business changed. The way I do presentations changed. My sales went up. Everything changed. Because I just stopped focusing on the income of it. So that showing people that, yeah, you see this end product, but there was that over there. And there was all the struggle. So if you're there, this is all doable. I love that.
It is.
I love that.
It is.
Yes.
Love it
I think that's great.
Love it too. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
So happy to have you on my show and so happy to meet you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
This has been fantastic.
It is. And I'm supposed to have some great message for you, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. And of course, believe in yourself, love who you are, find your passion, and make the world a better place with it. Bye for now.